Hello everyone, it's Jennifer McCollum from Parent Teens. I am here today with Sharon Ballantine. Sharon is a parent coach and the founder of the Ballantine Parenting Institute. Welcome, Sharon.
Hi, Jennifer. Thank you. I appreciate being here.
Well, I'm so honored that you're here. Sharon is here today to tell us about, she's going to give us her top 11 tips on how to live happy with your teens. Isn't this great? Happy with your teens. I would love this. And as I said to Sharon before we started recording, I said, I'm going to be listening closely to every single one of these tips. Now, Sharon, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you have an online course for parents, which I really, really want to highlight because there's going to be parents listening in from all over the world, and this course can be accessed from anywhere in the world. Is that right?
Yes, it can. It's all online. Yes.
That's wonderful. And you also do parent coaching, which is also online. So, Sharon, I'll let her talk about it a bit more, but I know it can be done on the phone or through Skype as well. So
absolutely. Yes. Want to make it easy for everyone.
Isn't that great? And that it can be accessed no matter where you are and no matter when it is that course is available. So Sharon, please tell us a little bit about how you got started as a parent coach, and tell us about how you created the Ballantine Parenting Institute.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. Well, it all started with parenting, of course, and I raised 3 children who are now grown. Mm-hmm. And it started with writing my book, The Art of Blissful Parenting, teaching your children how to follow their own internal guidance. And that book was a teacher for me. It has everything in it that I did wrong. It has all the stories of how I tried to control my kids when I went into fear mode when they were teenagers, and how I finally came full circle in my parenting. And it was a long process, and all the fun stories are in my book. And I even had my 3 children write little paragraphs about their experience of mom. But that was my teaching tool, and that's why I feel like I have a message for parents, because this is everything I did that didn't work, and this is how I finally figured it out and made it work. And then from there, I created the Ballantine Parenting Institute, which has videos and modules and playbooks for parents to fill in their answers. It's a really fun course that I took all of the kind of teachings that I learned from my book and put it into an online course.
Isn't that great? So it's interactive as well.
Yes and no. It has, everything you fill out. You could watch the videos whenever you want to. And then it has questions to really help you integrate the information I've given you and kind of, tug at your heartstrings to know and feel that you're on the course you want to be in your parenting.
Isn't that wonderful? Okay, so you're here today to give us 11 tips on how to live happy with your teens. So what is your number 1 tip?
Well, my number 1 tip, and as you know, as a parent of teenagers, it can be often a rocky road. And I wish I'd known most of these tips, at the time I was raising my teens, but I had to kind of learn them along the way. And a few of them I realized after. So this is what I've come up with for top 11 tips for living happy with your teen. Number 1, and it doesn't mean it's the most important. It just means it's the first one. Resist the temptation to ask your teen what they did at school. And we're interested. We want to know everything that they've done, but they're tired. And have you ever noticed that really the word that comes out of their mouth is nothing? I did nothing. And I found that to be just so unproductive over the years to ask and get that same response. Instead, I found if I got the conversation going on subjects that interested them, maybe it was their hobby or their sport, or sometimes it was nothing at all, and just letting them be in their own space.
I love that suggestion. And it's funny that you say you wrote your book based on the mistakes that you made. I'd have to say, yes, your number 1 tip is already one of my biggest mistakes too. Like, how,
yes,
I think it was years that my daughter would come home and I would say, how was your day? What'd you do? Who'd you talk to? Where'd you go? And
Yes.
every day she would say, you're not supposed to ask me that, Mom.
Why don't you know that?
How many years that I did it? So, okay, there's my mistake number one. These tips are going to be a rundown, maybe everything I do wrong. Okay, what's your second tip for us, Sharon?
Tip number 2, make eye contact with your teen and smile. You know, we get so busy making dinner, making sure they're doing their homework, making sure that the family is running smoothly day to day, that I really had to make a deliberate choice and conscious decision to stop, take a deep breath, look at my teen and smile. And you know, that might be the most significant thing that you've done with them on an energetic heart-to-heart level every day to do that. So that was a big one for me because I could really go into busy mode as a mom.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there's mistake number 2 for me. And, you know,
I love it.
I have thought recently, you know, when you think about someone, how do you think about them? Do you think about them smiling or mad all the time? I don't want my kids to think that I'm upset all the time or I'm unhappy, and to just smile could make such a big difference. And if they, you know, even can just years from now look back and think of Mom with a smile on her face, wouldn't that be great? What a gift that would be.
Yes, we don't want to have any regrets. You know, we probably have several, but
Mm-hmm.
hopefully that wouldn't be one of them. And
Right.
I do it as much as I can, even now that they're grown and gone, to just, you know, I learned my lesson and stop, smile, and look
Wonderful.
at them. They'll be shocked.
Yes. They're going to be, who is this?
They'll love it though. They'll love it.
Okay, number 3.
Okay, number 3, ask your teen relevant questions. You know, topics that they can relate to. Maybe there's something in the news that you know they've been following that you can ask them about because it's about one of their peers or someone they admire, things that you know interest them. You know, it makes a big difference on whether they're willing to talk to you or not. You know, realizing that your teen may not always give you the answer that you want or expect, or maybe even any answer at all. But allowing that to be okay. You know, it's really a big thing for us parents to overcome the expectation of needing an answer, of needing that you know, conversation. As long as they know that we care and we've asked the questions, it's going to turn out well, much better if we don't always expect them to have an answer.
Isn't that wonderful? In my house, if I relate it to hockey in any way, it gets answered.
See, you know the trick. Yay,
Mm-hmm.
you got a star. You get a star on that one.
Even math, we were just doing fractions and I had to relate it to hockey, or else, you know, one of our sons wouldn't do his math. So I love
it. Yeah, you've got that one down.
It's knowing your kids, right?
Yes.
Okay, number 4. What is your 4th tip for us?
Be respectful of your teen's mood. Now that's a big one, isn't it? Because often they can go through periods of where they're just always in what we think is not a great mood. You know, it's important as parents to not take anything personally with your teen. And yes, that takes practice for sure. We have to give ourselves permission to feel good, even when our teen has chosen to be in a bad mood. Because we can only inspire our kids, or anyone else on the planet for that matter, with our joy. We can only inspire from our place of joy.
Mm-hmm. And it's hard to think that we completely expect them to always be in a good mood, because we are all human and we all can't be in a good mood all the time. So I like that. No. That's one of your tips. Thank you.
We aren't always, so we can't expect our teens. You know, we care about them. We want them to be happy, but ultimately they have to go through their teen years first.
I love the honesty in that. Okay.
Yes.
What's your 5th tip for us?
Tip number 5, encourage participation with the family. You know, you want your teen to participate, but don't require it. I had to learn that one the hard way, because if we require our teen to be at everything that we do as a family and they're not in the mood for it, how much fun does everyone have? Not that much. You know, we're each going to have the best time possible if everyone wants to be there. And I found by doing that, my teen started to feel, you know, left out. If I gave them permission to not be part of it and they saw or heard that we just had way too much fun, from then on, they wanted to be a part of, you know, whatever we were doing. But it makes it their choice, and that's really important.
I can definitely relate to that when we have soccer games or baseball games out in the yard. And, you know, if you try and drag someone out to play, it doesn't work at all. But if they hear you giggling and, you know, trying to run to first base, exhausted,
Yeah.
and then they're going to come out and join in. So what a great suggestion. Okay, number 6. Are we on the 6th tip?
Yes, tip number 6.
All right.
And this is a big one for parents. Reacting versus responding to your teen. So behaving toward your teen how you want them to behave toward you. You know, this is where your intention becomes so important. And it will help you be the model and inspiration for your teen when you deliberately choose to take a deep breath, think about what you're going to say, and you respond to them rather than participating in the drama and emotions, which I think encompass reacting. You know, that tends to be knee-jerk reacting with emotions and drama. It's never productive for anybody.
Gosh, were you in my house this morning? I feel like you were a fly on the wall. Were you listening? Okay, I'm going to do better with that one too.
It's always a choice, isn't it? If we think when we're having interactions with our kids, if we just make it a practice to just stop and breathe, you know, step number 1, take a deep breath and respond from that place of more calm. It helps.
I love that. Thank you, Sharon.
Of course.
Okay, that leads us into tip number 7.
Tip number 7. Give your teen details about your life and what holds meaning for you personally. You know, if you had a situation in your life that left you feeling similar to how your teen is currently feeling, share that story with them. Let them know that how the situation affected you. You know, did your heart ache too? Did you wonder if you'd, you know, done something wrong at the time? Let them know that it's okay to have those feelings and emotions, but don't, So this is going to ultimately help your teen to know you at a deeper level. When you share about what holds meaning to you, we tend to be so focused on, you know, what our kids are feeling and doing and what they're going through. They might be grown up and they don't have a clue on who their parents are.
Or they might know too much, which might lead us.
Well, that's my, exactly. Yes.
Tip number 8.
Yes. Tip number 8, you're good. Don't overshare the details about your life. So it's one thing to tell them what's important to you, what you love, etc. But you know, some of those details can get too intimate, and your teen may not be ready to process their life and your life simultaneous. So keep the intimate details to yourself and just share your, you know, other passions.
Or wait until they're 60 years old and no, not even
exactly. Yes.
Some things
I know.
should be left unsaid.
Some things should be. Some things should. But I also found when my kids were grown, you know, like all the way grown up, when I really couldn't ruin them at this point, I told them things about myself. I'm a good person, but we all do things, and you know, I shared. So they thought they just think it's funny, you know.
That's wonderful, having our kids think it's funny.
Right?
At least they're laughing and they're happy, and that's what these tips are about, right? Loving tips and living happy with your teens.
It's about having as much joy as you can as your teens are finding their way in the world, in their bodies, in their minds, in their souls, figuring out who they want to be.
That's right. All right, let's move on to tip number 9.
Tip number 9. Encourage your teen to constructively share what's on their mind. You know, by expressing what your teen doesn't want in a certain situation, it's also really important to express what it is they do want. You know, sometimes teens get caught up in what they don't want, but it's important to have you help them switch it over to putting the majority of their focus on what they do want to get out of whatever, you know, situation they're in or whatever is happening. Put more focus on what they do want. It's a lot more likely to manifest that way.
A more positive outlook, right?
Yes, because assuming that what they do want is, you know, positive and good for them, that will make them feel better,
That's
it's
right.
going to be much more constructive for them to focus on.
That's a good tip for all of us, I think, you know, to focus on the positive and focus on, you know, I find even in my day, I could get
Yes.
caught up on negative, negative, negative. But if you focus on, okay, I don't like this, but what do I really want? And then you're focusing on a positive change. And you're right, assuming it is positive, it's a great way to look at everything. So.
Yes, exactly. And we always have to look at what we don't want. It generally tends to be front and center in our face in
Mhm.
whatever situation, you know, we've encountered in life. But then just put it aside and just put the majority of our attention on, and teach our children too, you know, on what you do want. It's a lot more fun that way. And like I said, it's a lot more likely to manifest when you're looking at what it is you do want.
Isn't that wonderful? All
Yes.
right, tip number 10.
We're getting there. So
Mhm.
this can be the most challenging, I think. It's because it's huge with a teen as they're going through all their hormonal changes. Don't engage in any drama with your teen. Now, more easily said than done, right? But again, it's back to intention, deliberate parenting. It's about responding versus reacting. So when you refuse to engage in the drama of whatever is happening between you and your teen, you know, you can show your teen that this type of behavior isn't productive. Believe it or not, they're always watching you, and they are always learning, even though at the time they're teens, they're certain that they're not. They actually are.
Mhm.
So that they learn that over time, that this kind of behavior of engaging in drama really ultimately will never get them what they want. And we want to show our teens that it's important to us that we get what they want, that they get what they want. And engaging in the drama is just kind of a fast track to nowhere.
That is wonderful. Fast track to nowhere, that's for sure. Okay, number 11 and the
And
final
lastly,
tip.
yes, tip number 11, give your teen the benefit of the doubt. And isn't this sometimes interesting to even try and ponder, giving our teens the benefit of the doubt?
Mhm.
But you know, the truth isn't always clear, no matter what the situation is that arises with our teen as they're navigating their day and their life. The truth is not always clear. And your teen, it's so important, but they will learn to trust themselves, and they will learn that you trust them, which they hold so much value in, if you show them that you are more often than not able to give them the benefit of the doubt when you don't have all the facts, because we don't as parents have all the facts of every situation that comes up with our teens.
That's true. And again, were you in my house this morning?
You kind of went through it all today, didn't you?
I think so. I think so. But you know what? This has been a really good reminder for me. And I know for many others listening in that these 11 tips, even if you pick and choose one or two of them to start with, it's good. And it's things, you know, we had talked about before that you've heard. You know this, right? You know
Yes.
this. And sometimes just hearing it again and knowing that these tips were created out of other people having to go through it. So you're not alone. We make mistakes. We're only human. And it doesn't matter how old your teen is, right? You can start using these suggestions at any age. And I love that, Sharon, you were very open with us and shared, you know, your story of how you came to creating your book, creating the Ballantine Parenting Institute. I just think it's so inspirational and wonderful that you have taken your journey to help others in their journey being happy with their teens. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank you, Jennifer. This has been a joy for me, and I appreciate the time with you.
Well, I hope you come back because I know you have so much to share with us. And I know that your course is helping hundreds, if not thousands of people around the world. So I will provide links after our chat to finding Sharon, her online course, her coaching, her book, right? The Art of
Yes.
Blissful Parenting. And also I'll have a print off of these 11 tips as reminders. I'm going to print mine off and put it right in front of me. I'm going to have it right there. Reminders.
I love that. We all need reminders every day of our lives. We think we know something and then it's brand new the next time we hear it. So I love that. It's a process in life.
It is. Thank you so much, Sharon. I hope you come back and join us again another time.
I'd be happy to. Thank you, Jennifer. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye, Sharon.
Bye-bye.